And we are live. Welcome to Tonight in America. I'm your host, Dontarius Jones. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's show. Uh, I almost canceled the stream tonight. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Got a lot of personal life stuff that I'm dealing with. But hey, the show goes on. Promise to give everyone a show tonight. So we're just gonna jump right into it and stuff like that. So we are going to be covering the second half of the Benjamin Netanyahu interview done by Patrick Bet David. And then we are also going to react to his Jubilee debate against 20 anti capitalists. The title of the debate is One Pro Capitalist versus 20 Anti Capitalists. All right. So this is pretty much what we're covering today. These two main subjects, and then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program tomorrow. I have an exciting week of news and stuff like that, and I've been hearing rumors about Trump's possible death, or the GOP's covering up Trump's health, that he's far worse than he already is. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But anyways, we're gonna get it. We're gonna jump right into everything right now.
Had in Israel, uh, next to in Afghanistan, or if we had another Israel there, we wouldn't have spent $1 trillion or trillions of dollars. Israel is receiving and is very grateful for the American military assistance at about 3.8 billion a year, and 80% of it is spent in the United States. That's the deal. So it helps American industries, but we also produce these incredible weapons that we share with the United States. We produce intel that is invaluable for the United States. You're familiar with the Five Eyes, Patrick? You know what that is? You
Tell
know
me
all
more.
these countries that are part of the American intelligence system? Well,
Oh,
there's a
yes,
sixth eye,
yes.
Israel. It's a very powerful eye, and we share our intel with the American intelligence services. And that's why the bond is so strong. It's not only a bond of values of our common Judeo-Christian civilization, and it is really a war of civilization against the barbarians that we're fighting. But it's also a bond of utility, of great success. That partnership is very, very strong. I know it's challenged all the time, but it's very, very strong. And you should talk to some of the people in the higher places in the Pentagon. I wish you could talk to the people who share our intelligence or the weapon systems that we share. I think that you'll discover that they appreciate, as we appreciate enormously what America gives to us, and they appreciate what Israel gives to America. Somebody said to me, "You're the one fighting ally we have. You don't ask us to put boots on the ground. You don't ask us to fight your wars." Although President Trump did a great thing by joining in that precise strike that he did. Didn't just start World War III. It didn't bring thousands of American troops on the ground in Iran, but it did. It was a magnificent addition to our brave soldiers. So I have to tell you, I think it's a partnership that is going to go on for a long, long time. As far as I'm concerned, for all time.
Prime Minister, what do you say to the critics who say, Israel owns America, Israel is who makes America do things they want them to do, whether it's through APAC, whether it's through, funding, money. You'll typically hear this. This has been overly said the last couple of years in a major way. And there's a community of Americans that at this point believe that whatever Israel wants, they make a phone call to America. America better do or else. Do you agree with that?
Very true.
Absolutely not. I think it's full of hokum. First of all,
Of course, he would say that.
do you know President Trump? I mean, sort of, I've known him for many years.
Sure.
Okay. You don't make him do anything. He does what he thinks is in America's interests, and he's very forceful about it. When he sees allies who don't step up to the plate, he's not shy about saying it. And we have a different relationship altogether. It's not one of coercion or manipulation. It's one of common interests and common values. And I think that people understand that, because Israel is different. It really is. We know that we have to fight for ourselves, and we do. But when we fight for ourselves, we fight for you too, because we fight Iran. Iran tried to murder.
Bruh, this is This is great marketing for like for United States to go to war with Iran. That is just great marketing skills that this guy's excellently showing off right now. He's making a very appealing case to the American public why we should care about going to war with Iran. That's all this. That's all I'm hearing right now. You should care about going to war with Iran because they are Israel's enemy, and any enemy of Israel is the enemy of the United States, which is not true. Every Middle Eastern war we've ever fought in the Middle East is because of Israel. Every time we spend in the Middle East, it's because of Israel. You know the reason why they chant death to America? Oh, it's because we went to war for Israel. All of this is just straight baloney bullshit out this guy's mouth. This guy's just pulling this out of his ass.
President Trump, not once, but twice. Iran killed and wounded thousands of Americans with their IEDs, explosive devices, in Iraq and Afghanistan. Iran killed 241 Marines in Beirut. They bomb your embassies. They burn American flags. They have mobs chanting, death to America, death to America. So when we fight Iran, we're not just...
Let's be real. They can chant death to America all they want. Militarily wise, they cannot stand to America's. They cannot stand up to America. They cannot. We would crush them. That's why Israel needs us in this war. They need us fighting their wars because without us, they would not be the top. Well, they're not even the top hegemon in the Middle East right now. That's why they're going to. That's why they're trying to go to war with Iran and excommunicate a regime change. The purpose of a regime change in Iran is to put in a puppet government that better suits the benefit of Israel. That's all it is. That's all it is. Like they can chant death to America. The chants don't mean shit. It's just like a guy shouting to like some fighter on the streets. Like say a pro fighter's walking down the street and some guy says, "Hey, I'll beat your ass right now. I don't like you. I don't like what you said at the press conference before the fight. Even after the fight, I want to beat your ass right now." Like, be real. You really think a guy in the street who has no training, no type of proper understanding of the concept of like how much experience matters when it comes to fighting a professional fighter. Now, when it comes to a street fight, anything can happen. Weapons are involved. You can get jumped, whatever. But if it's like a one-on-one thing, no weapons involved, a street fighter is obviously about to kill this average Joe who's just shouting bullcrap. That's the same thing with people. That's the same thing in the Middle East when they're chanting death to America. They can chant death to America all they want. We can still crush them militarily.
Fighting our war, we're fighting your war, but we are fighting that war here in the Middle East. And let me tell you what would happen. And as someone who had been in the Middle East as a child, I think you can appreciate this. It's not only we who are threatened by Iran, it's our Arab neighbors too. They know that Iran wants to conquer them, pillage their oil fields, take over the Middle East, the maritime routes that control world trade. So they know that. But if you look at who's actually fighting Iran, it's Israel. It's Israel, our brave soldiers, our incredibly brave soldiers. And this tiny country, you know, President Trump asked me, how do you guys do this? I mean, you're such a small country, you know, we're the size of New Jersey, bigger than Rhode Island, but that's it. We're slightly smaller than New Jersey. And we take on this enormous empire with all its proxies, this anti-American empire that threatens to kill the president and chants death to America. How do you do this? And I said, well, you know, you're like an enormous lion, almost like a prehistoric saber-toothed tiger. You're enormous. We're not. But we are, you know, we're the badger, you know, this little animal.
Absolutely.
Badger. And you see a badger being, you know, some tiger or lioness is trying to kill it, and it sort of turns around. It has very sharp teeth, and it knows how to go to the weakness points, you know, to the points of vulnerability of the enemy. And you see these things, you know, I watch NGO Wild when my wife lets me because she likes to watch cooking shows, okay? So late at night, after we have this argument, we settle on some compromise. And on Nat Geo Wild, I see these films of this badger, this tiny creature, it's about this big, taking on a lion, and the lion runs away. So Israel is the badger of the international scene. It has the fortitude, the will to fight our enemies because of our history. Because for so long, we didn't have a state, we didn't have an army, we didn't have the ability to defend ourselves, which culminated in this crescendo of massacres that culminated in the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust, in which a third of our people were annihilated. We have that in our bones, in our hearts, in our soul, and we fight. And that's I think President Trump would like to see more Israels around the globe, because everybody who says, America first, I can respect that, but I don't think they want America alone. And if you can have allies that actually share your values and fight for them in various parts of the world, and especially in the Middle East with Iran trying to take over the world, I think that's a valuable addition. So, it'll take time for this to sink in, but it will sink in.
Yeah, the topic of America first, it's become a little bit more clear where people are being put in different groups, America first and America only, and that debate's going on right now, which is a great debate. I actually like listening to both sides make.
America first is America only.
President Trump is a type of a man that you can get anything you want and make him do what he wants. I don't think President Trump is. But I do think Biden and others are. So the whole criticism of the fact that Israel, whatever they want, they can call America and have favors being done, I would agree with you on Trump, but with Biden. So maybe a question that I don't think's been asked yet. Putin was asked 2 weeks ago if the war between Ukraine and Russia would have happened under Trump. He said, no, it wouldn't have happened. So for you, would the war and the Hamas attack have happened if President Trump was president instead of Biden?
I don't know. It's a good question, but you said something about Biden that I should just point out the facts. In fact, President Biden supported us in the beginning of the war after this horrific massacre, and he came here, and I very much appreciate it. But as the war progressed and the vilifications of Israel, the distortions on the media began to pile on, he began to take a different course. And when we were just 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way in Gaza, I said we have to go into that last position that they had, where they had organized battalions. It's in a city called Rafah, in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. And he said,
yeah, that's the burning of Rafah. That was very gruesome. They did to those people. They literally told them to evacuate the area and go to a safe tent. And then once they went to the tent, they set the tent on fire and literally massacre women and children, innocent women, children, and men. That was very disheartening.
don't go there. And he said, if you do go there, I'll smack an embargo on you. Now, you're fighting a 7-front war, and all of a sudden you're slapped with an embargo of weapons. That was tough. And I said to President Biden, who I've known for many years, I respect the fact you're the President of the United States, but I'm the Prime Minister of the one and only Jewish state, and we've been fighting to survive in our small place under the sun. It's been a battle that has been going on for 3,500 years.
Because y'all literally took the land from the people, from the indigenous people that were already there. That's why y'all been fighting.
So I'll have to do what we have to do. And then a few days later, Tony Blinken, who was the Secretary of State, came to Israel, and he said, the president is serious about this embargo. And I said, Tony, I know it's serious because you stopped all the weapons. You slow walked them before, but now you've stopped them. And then I said to him this. He said, well, how are you going to do it then? I said, Tony, we'll fight with our fingernails if we have to, but we're not going to leave. It's like the Allies would leave a quarter of the German battalions in place and not go into Berlin. And I said, would you take that? Would you take that, Patrick? Of course you wouldn't. So we didn't take it either. We did it against the opposition of the American president. So much for Israel controlling the United States. We don't. But we do seek to control our destiny. And when somebody commits a crime like they did on October 7th, decapitating our men, raping our women and then murdering them, burning children alive in front of their parents, taking 255 hostages, grandmothers with their grandchildren, this horror. and pledged to do it again and again and again. Well, what choice do we have? We have to fight them and their Iranian patrons, and we did just that. We did that first with American help, then with American opposition, and when President Trump came in, with great American help, which I truly appreciate. And I think President Trump does what he thinks is good for America. I don't think that. I know that for a fact. He's a great leader.
So going back to that, I want to clarify this again. So you
Debatable.
said you don't know whether Hamas October 7 attack would have happened under Trump. So you're saying Hamas would have had...
Since we're on that point, actually, hold on. I think Kyle Kalinske made a video talking about this, actually, about that comment that Benjamin Netanyahu talked about Joe Biden. Where is it? I'm curious to see Kyle's reaction to this. And I watch all news on here. I watch the right and I watch the left. He even made a video. What is Trump hiding about his health? Like I said, we're gonna talk more about that tomorrow. We're just gonna focus on these two. We're gonna focus on these two topics I already picked out today. Netanyahu says Biden threatened Israel. Okay, so this is the video. This is 4 days ago.
So Benjamin Netanyahu sat down for an interview with Patrick Bet-David. And first of all, let me just say, I find it hilarious that anybody at this late date could interview Netanyahu and then be shocked that there's negative backlash. And that's what happened with Patrick Bet-David. I saw him talking about, like...
We'll cover that too as well afterwards. His immediate reaction to after the interview, because he gives a full like breakdown and basically goes over like all the people that like send the messages about interviewing Netanyahu, and actually who was one of the ones that got the interview set up between Netanyahu and himself.
Oh, maybe one side of the debate will accuse you of being funded by Qatar, but the other side of the debate say they want to kill you. So basically what he's saying is pro-Palestine people want to kill you if you talk to Benjamin Netanyahu. But the fact of the matter, Patrick, is this man is doing a genocide. He's the modern-day Hitler. And so people see you interviewing him, and if you're doing anything other than, like...
I don't know about that part.
Like, verbally berating him aggressively, you're going to basically come across like you're doing genocide apologia. Because you kind of are. So, people are going to be furious for a reason. I mean... The actual death toll is at least 300,000 people, and they don't want to see anybody sit down and play fucking patty cakes with this guy. You had the Nelk idiots humiliate themselves, giving him a softball interview. Then you have the trigonometry dipshits do a similar... Trigonometry, I can't get over how stupid that is. They do a similar thing, right? And so Patrick Bet-David has him on now. Let me show you a part of the interview, which surprised me. I must say, this was actually surprising to me, and I'm curious what you guys think of it, because I'm going to give you... what Netanyahu says here about what it was like working with Biden. Then I'm going to give you a new interview that just came out where the Biden administration officials who were around him on this issue were saying something totally different. Okay, so here we go. Let's watch this.
Do you think President Trump is the type of a man that you can get anything you want and make him do what he wants? I don't think President Trump is. But
Real quick, I was looking at my phone. So this is from Fox News 1 minute ago. President Donald Trump touted the success of his federal crime crackdown in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. He called it a crime-free zone. I'll give an update on that tomorrow too as well. Apparently, the Washington Post came out with an article today, said that crime actually rose. Let me see if I can find it so I can read the headline, and then I'll read it over tonight, and then we'll cover it tomorrow. So, robbery spike in D.C. Friday, Saturday, despite anti-crime surge. All right. So we have two different conflicting news statements right here about which is true or not. But technically speaking, the critics of Trump tend to always try to keep it more factual, based on numbers and based off of personal people's anecdotal experiences that live in Washington. Same with the other side too, anecdotal experiences about most of their own experiences too. So, like I said, we'll cover that part and give like an update of it tomorrow.
I do think Biden and others are. So the whole criticism of the fact that Israel, whatever they want, they can call America and have favors being done, I would agree with you on Trump, but with Biden. So maybe a question that I don't think's been asked yet. Putin was asked 2 weeks ago if the war between Ukraine and Russia would have happened under Trump. He said, no, it wouldn't have happened. So for you, would the war and the Hamas attack have happened if President Trump was president instead of Biden?
I don't know. It's a good question, but you said something about Biden that I should no. It's a good question, but you said something about Biden that I should just point out the facts. In fact, President Biden supported us in the beginning of the war after this horrific massacre, and he came here, and I very much appreciate it. But as the war progressed and the vilifications of Israel, the distortions on the media began to pile on.
As the war progressed and the vilifications in the media piled on. No, as the war progressed and you killed more and more women and more children and more innocent men and bombed more and more hospitals and more schools and more UN buildings, that's what actually happened. He's like, oh, he believed the facts that the media was saying. How dare he? Wait for it. This gets interesting.
He began to take a different course. And when we were just 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way in Gaza, I said we have to go into that last position that they had where they had organized battalions. It's in a city called Rafah in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. And he said, don't go there. And he said, if you do go there, I'll smack an embargo on you.
Ooh, what? Now we're talking, homie. Now we're talking.
3/4 of the way in Gaza, I said we have to go into that last position that they had where they had organized battalions. It's in a city called Rafah in the southern part of the Gaza Strip.
By the way, that's a lie. There weren't This was like all the people there were completely innocent to be safe, because what Israel would do is they'd say, okay, this place is a safe haven. Then you'd go to that safe haven and they would bomb you. So the idea, they were organized Hamas battalions, that's bullshit.
And he said, don't go there. And he said, if you do go there, I'll smack an embargo on you. Now, you're fighting a seven-front war, and all of a sudden you're slapped with an embargo.
Who put this seven-front war on us? How dare they do that? Bitch, you did that. You can't be, can you believe this? I'm in the midst of a seven-front war. Yeah, you started all them shits. That's all you, homie. What the fuck? Who does that? Who does, okay, so you started bombing the shit out of Yemen. You started bombing the shit out of Lebanon. You started bombing the shit out of Syria. You attacked in Gaza. You are taking over the West Bank right now. I'm at 5. Who am I missing? Iran. That's 6. He's like, man, why are we in the midst of all these wars? Because you fucking started them. Holy shit. Oh my God. This man is the most dishonest man on the planet.
And I said to President Biden, who I've known for many years, I respect the fact you're the president of the United States, but I'm the prime minister of the one and only Jewish state. And we've been fighting to survive in our small place under the sun. It's been a battle that has been going on for 3,500 years. So I'll have to do what we have to do. And then a few days later, Tony Blinken, who was the Secretary of State, came to Israel, and he said, the president is serious about this embargo. And I said, Tony, I know it's serious because you stopped all the weapons. You slow-walked them before, but now you've stopped them.
This is such bullshit. That didn't happen. They didn't stop the weapons. This is complete nonsense. The strongest thing that Biden did is he stopped sending the 2,000-pound bombs because they were dropping them in residential areas and killing massive numbers of civilians, right, with just those bombs. The 2,000-pound bombs were bigger bombs than we used in Fallujah in Iraq, and the reason we didn't use them is because we realized you're going to kill a lot of civilians if you use these, right? So that's all he did. He cut those off, and here's Netanyahu crying and whining and acting like Biden shut down all the weapon sales. This is just a lie.
And then I said to him this. He said, well, how are you going to do it then? I said, Tony, we'll fight with our fingernails if we have to.
Oh, tough guy. Tough guy, fucking from the comfort of your fucking presidential palace in Israel as, innocent kids are starving to death. You're real tough.
It's like the Allies would leave a quarter of the German battalions in place and not go into Berlin. And I said, would you take that? Would you take that, Patrick? Of course you would. So we didn't take it either. We did it against the opposition of the American president. So much for Israel controlling the United States. We don't. But we do seek to control our destiny. And when somebody commits a crime like they did on October 7th, decapitating our men, raping our women and then murdering them, burning children alive in front of their parents.
A lot of this is fake, by the way.
Taking 255 hostages, grandmothers with their grandchildren, this horror, and pledged to do it again and again and again. Well, what choice?
Meanwhile, who's actually doing the October 7th day after day after day after day? How many? If there's three...
Me and Kyle may be on two different sides of the political spectrum, but I can fairly agree with his assessment right here, actually. I agree a lot with what he's saying.
100,000 dead Palestinians, and there's what, about 1,000 dead Israelis from October 7th? You do the math on that. There's way more October 7ths on one side.
We have to fight them and their Iranian patrons, and we did just that. We did that first.
Bringing in it, talking about Iran too.
With American help, then with American opposition, and when President Trump came in with great American help, which I truly appreciate.
So he literally says, with Biden, it was American opposition to what we were doing. So, according to Netanyahu, you have Biden threaten to embargo Israel over what they were doing in Gaza. Right? I wish that were true. It's not. Then he says, oh, they really started slow walk. He said they shut the weapons down. Then he goes, oh no, they were slow walking the weapons. I don't think that's true either. I've seen no evidence of that whatsoever, right? And then, so he says this is at the same time this came out, y'all. So this is an interview in the New Yorker. How former Biden officials defend their Gaza policy. The former president's support for Israel abetted a humanitarian catastrophe, but Jacob Lew, who served as U.S. ambassador to the country, still thinks the Trump White House could learn from its predecessor. Okay, ready? So listen to this back and forth. When you would call them in the middle of the night and say, what on earth happened, what was usually the answer? The general pattern was that in the moment stories were inaccurate and that the Israeli military and government establishment were not in position to fully explain yet. We could almost never get answers that explained what happened before the story was fully framed in international media, and then when the facts were fully developed, it turned out that the casualties were much lower. The number of civilians was much lower, and in many cases, the children were children of Hamas fighters, not children taking cover in places. And then the interviewer goes, sorry, what did you say?
That still doesn't justify even murdering them. They're children. What harm do children have?
In many cases, the original number of casualties... No, I mean the thing about who the children were. They were the children of the fighters themselves. And therefore, what follows from that? What follows from that, whether or not it was a legitimate military target, flows from the population that's there. Hold on, Mr. Secretary. That's not, in fact, correct, right? Whether it's a legitimate target has to do with all kinds of things like proportionality. It doesn't matter if the kids are the kids of... Then he gets cut off. If you're in a command and control center, that's different than if it's a school that's emptied out and innocent civilians are taking shelter there. If you're the command of a Hamas unit and you bring your family to a military site, that's different. I'm not saying everything fits into that, and I'm not saying it's not a tragedy. So, in other words, the U.S. ambassador to Israel under Biden, Jacob Lew, is saying here, oh, when all these stories would come out of all these innocent civilians being killed, the Israelis would tell us, well, hold on now, let's gather all the facts. And then, well, we'd learn like a day later, like, oh, maybe the casualty rate was a little lower. And then we'd learn if they killed children, it's okay because they were Hamas children. They were the children of Hamas fighters. So that's okay. It's okay to kill those children. So I need you to stop and think about this.
I said the same thing just a second ago.
Basically gave Israel everything they wanted every step of the way. They gave them all the money. They gave them all the weapons. There was only a temporary period where they cut off the 2,000-pound bombs, and they had a moratorium on the 2,000-pound bombs. That's the extent of the pushback from Biden and the Democrats, is can't use those 2,000-pound bombs. All they do is kill civilians, but you can have the rest of the money. You can have the rest of the weapons, and, go ahead. And he said, oh, don't make the same mistakes we made after 9/11 doing the Iraq war. You don't make those same kind of mistakes in Gaza. But then they proceeded to mass murder everybody in sight, commit war crime after war crime, do a genocide and ethnic cleansing, and Biden did nothing to really hold them back or stop them. Here's what the people around Biden controlling Israel policy, Biden did nothing to really hold them back or stop them. Here's what the people around Biden controlling Israel policy were saying. Oh, those were just Hamas kids that they killed, so it's okay. So even when you have Democrats giving Israel everything they fucking want, look at how Netanyahu about Biden. Look at how he talks about them. He talks about them like, oh, they were holding us back and they actually were the opposition and they threatened to embargo us and they're against Israel and all these fucking things. So if Israel, I mean, from a moral perspective, we should be pro-Palestine and anti-Israel and anti-genocide. But even from just a raw political perspective,
I agree.
why would you, if they're always going to portray you as being your opponent, as fucking you over, as not giving them everything they want, and if they're always going to run into the loving arms of Trump and the Republicans, why wouldn't you just do the right thing? Again, for moral reasons, you should stop arming and funding the genocidal new Nazi state, the terror state that is Israel. But even if you don't give a fuck about morality and you're a raw political actor, why would you not look at this and say, well, clearly we gave them 99% of what they wanted and they took that 1% disagreement and stabbed us in the back over it and made it seem like we were the enemies of Israel or whatever the fuck.
There was also a recent, this is kind of off topic. I should have brought this up earlier. So there's unconfirmed reports that Israel killed Hamas spokesperson. It's unconfirmed if he is dead or not. I'm seeing conflicting reports about it, so no one can really verify that. For sure, they killed the prime minister of Yemen. They for sure killed him and his whole cabinet too, as well. His entire cabinet also got killed. So it's definitely not. It's definitely not on the path to peace for sure. We're definitely on the path to more warfare.
Why wouldn't we just do the right thing then and say, you know what? We are going to cut off the money. We are going to cut off the weapons. We are going to condemn you at the UN. We are going to arrest Netanyahu. We are going to arrest Ben-Gvir. We are going to arrest Smotrich. We are going to force a peace deal on you. We are going to recognize a Palestinian state. We are going to hold you accountable for all of your war crimes. We are going to uphold international law and make sure it's not a joke in the eyes of people now because of your actions, Israel. So it is just disturbing, bro. It is just disturbing that Biden can give them 99% of what they want, and he was fucking wrong to do that, by the way. He shouldn't have been arming and funding a genocide. But he gives them nearly everything they want, and then he still stabs the Democrats in the back, stabs Biden in the back, runs into the loving arms of Republicans, and Democrats sit there with their thumbs up their asses looking like fucking idiots. And then what, you going to do the same thing now? Are Democratic politicians going to still try to do the same thing now? Given this, Den's going to still try to do the same thing now? Given this, they hate you. They don't like you. They don't, and you shouldn't like them. I know you take the AIPAC money. I know you take the Israel lobby money. I know a lot of you are ideologically Zionist. Wakey, bro. It's over. It's done. Netanyahu is effectively a partisan Republican on top of being a genocidal maniac and bloodthirsty freak. Wake up to that reality and adjust accordingly. If not for the sake of the 300,000 dead Palestinians and the genocide and the ethnic cleansing going on right in front of your fucking eyes, if not for that, for raw political motivations, because they're never going to side with you, they're never going to agree with you, they're always going to back your opponents, and you're going to stand there looking like a fucking idiot because you are one. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And
you know, Kyle's spitting fire right there. I can agree with Kyle 100%. Like, he was hitting the nail in the coffin to me. Like, whether you look right, whether you look left, they do not care about you. The GOP does not care about you. The Dems don't care about you. You gotta realize. Now, I'm not saying there's never not gonna be a good politician, maybe, but who's to say who's not controlled by Israel? Everyone has to take donor money in order to be able to get into big politics. You cannot get into politics unless you have donor money. Especially whenever you're the president of the United States too. Whenever you're running for president, big donors come out to fund your campaign, to fund your entire presidency. Mayor Madison, for one, who gifted Trump $100 million. And that $100 million came with a request. What was that request? You can see what's going on right now in the Middle East. That was the request. So let me get back to the interview.
Had the audacity, even under Trump, to have attacked, or no, they would have feared him?
Probably not, but it's hard to say with these maniacs. You can't quite tell. I think Iran would have been more careful, and Iran is the patron. Would they have controlled completely their client, their proxy? Maybe not. Maybe they would have, possibly. But look, I think President Trump has changed the posture of America. America is back on the global scene. America is resumed its powerful position among the nations. And I think that's for the good. Because I think one of the tragedies for the Jewish people was that in the first half of the 20th century, America was not the dominant global power. And the worst tragedy in the history of mankind, the World War II, took place, and I don't think it was accidental. And the worst tragedy in the history of my people, the Holocaust, took place. But in the second half of the 20th century, America emerged as the dominant power on the earth, and Israel came into being. And as a result, our history has changed. We no longer are massacred with impunity. We now have the ability to defend ourselves, and we are very fortunate to have an ally, a strong ally, the United States, with successive presidents. We've had our differences, as I said, but overall, there's been a very strong alliance through all presidents. But it's never been stronger. It's never been so intimate and so powerful as it is now under President Trump.
You've been prime minister while President Clinton was in the White House, Biden, Obama, and Trump twice. Is there an element of unpredictability with President Trump that you don't know necessarily what he's going to be saying next? Or do you notice a pattern of, similar approaches that they all take?
Well, look, I think President Trump has...
Real quick, actually. So while Kyle was talking earlier, I was going to look for this video right here, actually. Bring it up right quick.
He said if we had...
So I found the video where they talked about the burning in Rafah. YouTube's acting trash.
This news is funded by viewers like you. Please support our work at democracynow.org.
This is from the YouTube channel Democracy Now! Obviously, it's a left-leaning YouTube channel, but they give some good insights on here and some good stuff, and they cover the Gaza war extensively themselves. So, as you can see, they cover the Rafah burning when it happened. People burned alive. Children, child decapitated. Report from Rafah on Israeli strike that killed 45 in count.
/give. We begin today's show in Gaza, where health officials say at least 46 people were killed and more than 110 injured across Gaza in the last 24 hours as Israel continues to bomb Rafah after its forces on Sunday night bombed yet another tent camp in the southern city that was housing displaced Palestinians in an area that had been declared a safe zone. Officials say many of the bodies were charred after the Israeli attack caused a fire that tore through the camp. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Monday called the Rafah strikes a tragic mistake and vowed to investigate amidst global outrage.
Yeah, that's a fucking lie.
The attack came just 2 days after the International Court of Justice ordered Israel to immediately stop its assault on Rafah. Meanwhile, Palestinians continue to flee Rafah amidst ongoing Israeli attacks.
We don't know where we're going. We woke up at 6 in the morning, at 5:30 in the morning from the shelling and rockets. We are going, God knows, in our situation, we don't have tents and we don't have anything. We have children with us. We have more people to transport, my aunt and my mother-in-law. They are under the shelling and I will go and get them. There is no transportation. There is nothing. In terms of means of life, this is what we woke up to at 5:30 in the morning.
I don't know. I'm just walking in the street. I don't know where to come or go. They say that we should go somewhere safe. There is nowhere safe. There is no area that is safe. Where should we go? Let the Arab world look at us now. Let the Arabs look at us and see what is happening to us. God is my suffice and the best disposer of my affairs. This is not a life. This is not a life. This is not a life. We are sick. I don't know what to say. We are walking, but we cannot walk or come or go.
For more, we go to Rafah in Gaza. We're joined by independent journalist Shrouk Ella. She lived in the Jubilee refugee camp in northern Gaza before October 7th, had been studying English at Islamic University in Gaza. We welcome you, Shrouk, to Democracy Now! If you can talk about what you understand happened on Sunday night with the attack on the camp that was designated by Israel as a safe zone, the Israeli bombing that took out the lives of 45 people as it hit some kind of oil tank and the fire ripped through the camp.
Okay, so on Friday, when the International Court of Justice ordered Israel to immediately halt its offense in Rafah city. Rafah city is a city that is full of over 1 million displaced people who came through the Gaza Strip. This is according to the Israeli army, who issued that the Rafah area is a safe area and considered as a designed humanitarian area. So over 1 million sought refugee at this city, and after the order of the ICJ, Israel is unlikely comply with the order and responded with more attacks in the area and expanding its military operation in Rafah city. And 2 days ago, it happened when they launched at least 2 rockets on a displacement camp that is quite close to the UNRWA logistic log, which is a base refers to UNRWA, and people gathered around this space, considering it, you know, as a green area, a safe area. And after the bombing, the area is basically full of tents for displaced people, and the fire set on because of, you know, the tents are basically made of nylon fabrics and woods, and this severely affected in having more fire, and which caused the death toll raised until 45, and almost plus 200 got injured. And yesterday, the past night, since the midnight till the 6 a.m., the Israeli army shelled and attacked the Rafah city once again heavily, and the sounds of the explosion in Rafah were totally heard and clearly in the middle area of the Gaza Strip. And they expanded the operations more in the area, which caused in 3 hospitals to be out of the service: the Indonesian Fair Hospital, and the Emirati Hospital, and also Kuwaiti hospitals. So because of the attack in the past night, 3 hospitals went out of service, and also lots of people are being now in the streets, unable to recognize where to go.
Is the frames good right now? I saw it drop in frames for a minute. All right, it's going back up. Want to make sure everything's good. Out. Make sure. Extend on my end. Sure everything's smooth. Let me check the video. Just a sec. Yeah, look like I'm having dropping frames right now. The levels look good right now, so yeah. All right, the levels look good right now.
especially because of the fuel crisis. This fuel crisis happened because of the closure of the borders, because of the Rafah invasion. So we really have a crisis in transportations. The fees of the transportations is quite high that people are unable to afford it. So some of the people decided to stay and not to leave because they are unable to afford the transportations to move for other areas, and while others decided to just walk in the streets to reach somewhere else, but not try.
Wonder how it is on Rumble 2 as well. So let me see. It'll be coming out perfect on Rumble 2. Got 6 views over there. Okay. W. Welcome to the stream.